Good afternoon and welcome to my Facebook Live, my broadcast of card making and creating fun. I apologise firstly for not being here last week. We had lots of health and family dramas. My father was in hospital, and although he has recovered, on Tuesday and Thursday it was pretty close to saying goodbye. But anyway, he's okay. He's grumbling again, so he's all good. But in the meantime, myself and my mother have got COVID, so we are in isolation. But as you are not here, I can isolate with you guys. So here we are with some fun card making stuff. I hope I don't start coughing. I do have a glass of drink here just in case I do start coughing. But in the meantime, we are going to play. Firstly, we're going to play. I'm going to try and do another set of cards as well, which we missed last week. But it's all about time, breath, and whether I have enough. I've only got 45% on my tablet, on my battery, so we'll give it a try anyway. We are using, what to do with the paper? Pulled it out a minute ago. Here it is. We are using the Perched in a Tree bundle, which consists of the Perched in a Tree stamp set, which has this beautiful robin, a branch, some splatters, and some lovely sentiments. Your kindness warms my heart, wishing you abundant joy and peace. So it can be used as a Christmas card, but it also can be just used as a thank you card. I'm going to try turning that light off and see if that's lost that flicker, hasn't it? And it was affecting the colour, I think. And then the die comes with it as well as a bundle, and these leaves are beautifully embossed. So we have got those in one of our cards, so you can see how beautifully these leaves are embossed. So as a bundle, it's $112.50, and I think it's just lovely. So the first two cards are using that. The first card we're going to be using this DSP, which is actually called Pretty Prince, and it actually coordinates with the something prints that go with the no, it's gone now. I'll just find it in the catalogue. It's easier than trying to think out loud because the thinking power is gone. Never was terribly successful. It was never very very successful in the first place. But anyway, this paper coordinates with the, where's it gone? It's called Pretty Prints, and it's similar to the Sun Prints, which is those gorgeous blue ones that I have used a lot. So it's the similar prints to those, but just in these colours. So there's the garden green, no, not garden green, evening evergreen in the 3 patterns, then blackberry bliss in the 3 patterns, and then there's this gorgeous calypso coral. Yeah, calypso coral in these colours, and then Bermuda Bay, which is the ones we're using today. The only downside to them is there's only one of each print in each of the colour waves. So that beautiful, beautiful papers, and they coordinate with so many colours: Bermuda Bay, Blackberry Bliss, Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana, Evening Evergreen, Gorgeous Grape, Petal Pink, Rich Raspberry, Shaded Spruce, Soft Seafoam, Soft Succulent, and Sweet Sorbet. Not quite sure where they would put the Sweet Sorbet, but maybe in there, I don't know. But any which way, that's that one. So what we're going to do firstly is do this card. Now, I think I've got about 1,300 kits in amongst here. So first I might just, right, here's my sample card. That'll be the easiest thing for me to look at today, because the brain is bug. and we know what the brain's normally like. So first of all, just look at this gorgeous paper. First of all, we're just going to run the bone folder down the seam so that it holds it flat again. I might even do it on the other side as well. And I just see I've missed a little bit of poking out of this die. Look at that die. Isn't that just beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous. Now you can do so much with this die. I've seen it used with the Animal Wild Wonders of Wild stamp set. I've seen it used with the reindeer in behind it. It's just so versatile. But today we are going to use, now the die does not cut out the frame, so you have to be mindful of that. When the first one I did, I actually cut it too small, and because we never had any border around it, so it only cuts out the inside and the tree marks and stuff. I did save all these bits. I was going to be really wonderful and do something with them. All I did was put them in the bin in the end. So you can decide which side of your paper you're going to use. I've got dandelions on one side and ferns on the other, so it's a case of pop your paper over the top and see which side you want. You will have, some of you will have the same paper as I have, some of you will have different. I'm going to go with that side, I think. Okay, I never checked I had glue, so I hope I have. I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive down the trunks just to help hold them down and so that they don't lift. Not a huge amount, because there's all those broken pieces in the trunk and you don't want glue popping out of those. The trunk is also embossed. Whoops, there's a piece I missed. The trunk is also embossed, so it does look really effective. And if you were to use a little bit of blending pen over the top of that, it would pick up that embossing with a bit of crumb cake or something like that. Imagine how gorgeous that would look. We might have to play with that, but if you guys can't play with that because you haven't got the stuff, you need to buy blending pens and crumb cake ink so you can play with me. So I'm just going to make sure that that is on there and not sticking out the back, which it pretty much looks like I can see it all around there. Just going to pop my finger along there, touching those down. I don't want to push them too far because I don't want it all bubbling and spuking out. And then this just simply goes on the top of here. Now this is the same size as your card base, so it's got no border. So we're going to put glue on the back here. I've got some on my finger already. But guess what? I tell you what I've got in my little trusty drawer. I remembered to put my wet wipes in, so I can wipe the glue off my fingers. How's that? It's only taken me, how long have we been doing these classes? 2 years? Excuse me. Right, so a bit of glue off the fingers now. So I might even wipe it off there. Might need to actually wipe that because it's a bit icky. Right, so bring this down here, lining it up on the card base and no border. So it's easiest to do that is to tap it down so that it goes right to the edges, because when you tap it like that, it's coming up from underneath. And yeah, so bring that down, and then I would just, oops, that was wet. I would just, seeing as I've got a bit of cellophane there, I'll put that on there so that it doesn't make that any more wet. And move that glue around. Now I've got glue on it. Move that glue around and adhere that down so that it looks nice and clean and like that. You could even do it from that side as well, just to give it a little bit extra pressure. Okay, so that is your base of your card. Even by itself like that, it looks gorgeous. You could just do that and put our thanks, not these colours of course, our thanks on the top of it, and that would just be something nice by itself. I did put those extra thanks die cuts in your packs from the other week when I forgot to put them in, so they should be in one of the packs. I think it was one of the Christmas ones. So I'm just taking the little bits out of this die, which is part of the die set, part of the perched on a tree die set, and it's just some leaves, pile of leaves on the ground, really. But look at this. You have a look. You have a look at yours, but look at that stunning embossing in there. So what we're going to do is that, and then I've embossed it on a piece of vellum, and that looks gorgeous too. But I'm actually going to just fold that vellum a little bit on the fold of the leaf, and still got that glue on my fingers. And I'm going to try and find a glue dot, which I have got here. And I'm just going to pop the glue dot on the back of that vellum, because I just want that to sit on top of this leaf. So the two stalks of the leaves are balanced together, really, like that. Okay, so that's just got a bit of body in it. Of course, when you post it, it's going to drop as well. But then I'm just going to pop that there on the. Hang on, I'll take all these bits of black off. Pop that there on the card, and I will put some glue dots in behind that. Oops, hang on a minute. Oh, I've jumped a step. The black should be in between that. Sorry. Oh, he can go under here. Okay, the black piece actually goes in between the vellum and there. So now I do want them down a bit further. So I'll just twist to get these glue dots off. You just turn them around a little bit, and it disassembles it, and it will just come off eventually. Okay, so that's just stuck there now. So I'm just going to bring this piece of the black leaves pile on there, and then I'll just put another glue dot onto the back of my vellum like that. Now this is just absolutely going to be gorgeous. Absolutely going to be gorgeous. See, and then that just sits there. So now I'm just going to put a couple of bits of glue dots on the back of the leaf. Whoops, that missed it. And one there, and one on the top. Oops, now I've got my finger on a glue dot. That'll make my finger sticky. Okay, so that goes there like that. And just popping that down like that. I might just pop a little bit of glue in behind here, because it's moving. Just the tiniest little bit of glue in behind. Look, it's only a wee dot in behind there. Hold that down with the bone folder just until it catches, except I've moved it, just until it catches. A little bit of glue has eased out, but it dries clear, and we can always put a gem there if we chose not to have that bit of shine there. And then I'll just put a little wee bit just in a bit, because you don't want it all flat. Just leave it so that it's got a little bit of movement in behind it, just so that it's not bleh. Gives it a bit of life. And then what we're going to do is I've stamped Forever Friends. Now this was actually stamped from the Elephant Parade stamp set, and I just thought it looked nice with this. So I'm going to just trim that off the end just a little bit, because it's a bit long. You can banner it if you want to, or fishtail it or whatever, but I'm just going to snip it straight. Haha. Right there, and just a little bit off there, so it's even between the F and the edge. I'm not going to be so straight there, so I might have left it. It should have been better leaving it alone. Okay, so now what I'm going to do now is put some of our trusty dimensionals, and as I've only appear to have, oh no, there's some larger ones. No, that's not straight. It's not going to look happy. It's not looking happy already. Just, that's better. Right. So just on here. Now I'm going to cover up the stalks of those leaves. So I just want dimensionals on this end, Now, I would put 2 because you need a little bit of have some power to hold it down. Power. So I would just put the 2 dimensionals on there, and then a little dot of glue, which will then catch on to those leaves. And look at that. Well, you can't see it because I've got those on it, but that's just going to do the job. I'm just sorry that it was probably quite loud in your ears. Yeah, so things have been a little bit fair to middling here this last week. Well, week and a half really, but anyway, it's why have I got red gems? They might be off the other card. So I've got some large rhinestones here. I will just put 1 there because it covers up my glue dot. I will put 1 here. Whoops, there I've got 2. 1 here on account of the fact I've got a blob of glue, and I will put 1 over here to cover another glob of glue. Okay, but you can put your rhinestones everywhere you want. But how gorgeous is that? Simple, 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 simplistic card, but very, very pretty. Could be used for anything. Could also be used for a sympathy card, which we always need. And then you can just put your own sentiment on the inside of it. Right, so card number 2. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. Okay, so we'll just put over those out there at the way. Card number 2 is using exactly the same set, but just a different colorway and a different, just showing you a different way of using it, really. But we've got a piece of So Saffron. No, it's not called So Saffron. Felicity So Saffron's yellow, for goodness sake. Sweet Sorbet cardstock, which is one of the new in colors. We are going to put this on the inside of it, so that can just pop in there for the moment. And then we've got a piece here. Now this is actually more cream than white, and I did toy with putting very vanilla on it, but I don't like very vanilla with the red, so I just chose to use the white over the. But this glitter paper is actually called Mother of Pearl, and it is beautiful. No longer available, but I do have some if anybody would like to buy some. So we're just going to do the same with this. The glue down the, now because it's going to go on this shiny paper, it will slip when you're putting it on. So just be a little bit more careful putting it onto the paper. Little bits on the trunks of the trees and the branches. I don't really need to have all that tapping. It's driving my ears nuts. Bit of glue up here. Just trying not to make it split out because it will mark on that beautiful Mother of the Pearl paper. Okay, so pick it up by the ear and by its ear and popping it onto this piece. Now it's going to cover it up, so we want it inside the frame of the white again as we did before. So that's done like that. Then all we're going to do with that is pop it on the red with a small border around it. Okay, so just your adhesive of choice again. Like always, I use my liquid Tombow. And that's going to go on the Sweet Sorbet base. Remembering the 5 new in colours: Sweet Sorbet, Orchid Oasis, Starry Sky, Tahitian Tide, and Parakeet Party. All just too pretty to use, too pretty to not use. So that's that on there. Right, now we're going to use the bird. The red bird, not the blue bird. Right, come here, sparrow. I mean, red robin. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of that. I'm going to put the branch just there. Actually, I'm going to put it up just a smidgen. The branch just there. The sentiment down here. And our bird here. And I've lost the red rhinestones. Where have they gone? Okay, you've seen them a minute ago, didn't you, girls? But they've vanished now. But anyway, so that's sort of how it's going to go. The bird on the perch, perching on the tree. So firstly, I'll put dimensionals on the back of this, because this is sort of going to decide where our branch is going to go on the tree. But pretty much where it is now will be just spot on. Now this has been cut out with a round from the Stylish Shapes, which have the circles, the squares, and the banner dies in them. I have used them quite a lot since they have become available. I'm just going to put the branch here so that it fits into the tree, and just a little dab of glue. What I'm actually going to do is try and adhere it to this bit of branch here so that it sits just like that. Okay, so a bit of glue on the end of branch. Now what I seen on Pinterest yesterday was somebody had cut out those little leaves that I had done in the vellum on the other card and actually put them on the end of this branch, and gosh, it looked cool. Yeah, so not the big ones, the little ones, but it did look really cool. Bit of glue here. Might be easier to actually put the glue onto the tree, which I just might do. Yeah, bit there, and a bit there, and that should be about right. Like that. And I've got just a smidging here, which I'll just wipe off with my I also obviously had some on the end of my finger because it's stuck. Right, so we'll just put that there, hold it down with the bone cord. Of course, now it's in a different place to where the glue was. Oh, blast. Oh well. Rhinestones, here we come. So that goes just there. Possibly could have come down just a little bit further. But it's entirely up to you how you want it. And then I'm just going to pop my bird there. I'm going to pop the bird on dimensionals because you've got to, and you can. That didn't really need that many, but those two come off together. So, and I'm just going to put some mini dimensionals on the tail because that's not showing underneath. No, and on his little foot. Okay, right. So we then take your pick tool and take the backings off the dimensionals. Didn't come off. And the rubbish. Right. I'm going to drop that one on the floor. Okay, now you could manage that, Felicity. Nobody else would even want to try and see if they could do it. And put the bird there. As I say, it could have come down just a little bit, but we'll fix that with something, some dimensionals. Here they are. Look, not dimensionals, the gems. So we have got some red rhinestones here. So we shall put some of them, not there because it looks like he's pooped red rhinestones. Went on here. And these are not the sweet sorbet, but heck, not a lot of difference when you're putting them there, and you're not putting right on the sweet sorbet paper. So I don't think it matters too much because that one wants to go there. I'll put it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one can go on here. Okay, and then the piece in the middle, which is just really everyday stuff. You could put a sentiment on the middle, This is sort of really a Christmas sentiment on the front. So I'm guessing you could put a Christmas sentiment in the middle, or just hold the line a minute, please. Hello, Felicity speaking. I'm good, thank you. Could you ring me back in about 10 minutes? It's just not convenient to talk just at the moment. Sorry. Thanks. Bye. Thank you. What do they want? The hospital. But anyway, she's gonna ring back. So sorry about that. My phone has been hot this week to the extent that I have actually used up all my calls to landlines on my cell phone because my mum can't hear to talk on my landline, so they have to ring me at the moment. Right, so that's that card. So that's the 2 cards we've made here today. Okay, and we've still got time and money on our, money. We've still got power on my card, on my thing. So I'm going to just whip this through and do the one we should have done last week that I again apologise I didn't get done. So this is the Gnome one. Now how gorgeous. Now this is the one that's got your replacement in it from the thanks, the shadow from the back of that thanks from the other day that I didn't do. I've cut out some white pieces to just give your gnome a bit of lift and body. Okay, so we're going to do this one first, and this is really, really simple. I know it looks completed, it looks complex. Now that I've said it's really simple, I'll probably mess it up. Okay, so firstly, what you do is you put your white card in there. It's going to fold this way, so the opening is here. Got a bit of pencil line there, but I'll wash that off, brush that off later. So your opening is here, and you've got the accordion fold, but with the curtain up the top of it, right? So you're going to pop it right down to the bottom, and have the border on there, and then we're just going to swoop that off. Now I've taken my, I had it here. I've taken my snipper over to the other side. Just a minute, I'm going to get my trimmer. I did not stand on that side plane, otherwise it'll go through the window and all in hospital. Oh, what a lovely idea. Oh. Right, so I've got my trimmer. And all I'm going to do is because I haven't got a pencil here, I've only got a biro. I'm just going to put that into the trimmer slot. You could mark it with a pencil. I'm just going to put that into the trimmer slot there, like that. Line this piece up here and run my blade down there. So then that is cut evenly with that, okay, like that. Now what we want to do next is bring that down a little bit, just even Stevens, and just cut a little bit off the bottom, right? So that has that cut to the shape of your card base, okay? So then we stick that piece in. Then we're going to do the same with this piece, which is out of the what are they called? Gnomes for something paper, cardstock. Can't remember what's gnomes. It's just down here. It's upside down. I was only going to get Storybook Gnomes as the paper, and that's on page 43. I was only going to get the paper, right next to the other one, paper and the die for this, but however, I think I'm going to have to get the stamp as well. but it's called the Storybook Gnome Suite, but the Kindest Gnomes bundle, which is the Kindest Gnomes stamp set, and then the gnome dies. And you have a die for each different hat, which there are 4. And then you have a mushroom, which is cut out, and then you can cut out a freestanding gnome, which is in the next card, and some grass and some toadstools, and yeah, so awesome, cute. So this is the paper we're using here today. So that's the paper there. So and then the gnomes I've cut out of the paper as well. So we'll die cut those out of the cardstock. Right, so we're going to do the same with this one. Now you've got to make sure you've got it going the right way. So if you like that side, I don't, it's a bit bright for what I want it for. Put that side showing, but I'm going to use this side. So just bring it up, and this way you know that you're going to be cutting it to the angle that you want it. Okay, so checking that that's the way you want it to go, putting it in here on the blade. If you don't have a blade like this, then hopefully you've got a guillotine one, or just, if you don't have a blade like this, just be really careful and mark it with a pencil and cut it with your scissors is about all you can do. But I highly recommend a Stampin' Up! Trimmer. And then put that on there. Okay, and then that'll go there like that. Now I'm going to trim a little bit off the bottom of that so that it is the same border on the bottom as I have on the other one, but I want to do the front one first. Okay, and then the front one you can use the mushrooms, which I'm not going to, or toadstools rather, and or the snowflakes, which I'm going to use the snowflakes, and I'm going to put that on there. And you've got all these scraps you could use for something else, and then line it up. It's just easier for you to do this, because if I'd have done it, I'd have ended up getting like the candy canes. I'd have picked up the wrong die cut to go with the other, and they wouldn't have lined up properly. And so it's actually safer to do this with the actual paper on the cardstock. So I'm going to just check that on there, and I want a bit off the bottom, just a little bit. I'm going to line it up on the bottom here because I want it to see where I'm going a bit closer. Now because it's DSP and I don't want it to catch on here because it's not as firm as the cardstock, I'm going to actually start it in the middle and bring that up and then down, and that just stops that burring on the edge of your DSP. And then we're going to just check that's going to fit on there like that. So we now need to just quickly check that our borders are the same, and the easiest way to do that is to check the bottom. Okay, so like that. That one's actually too low, so I might have to cut some off the bottom of that one still. Put it in there, bring that, and then down onto it. And hopefully now that's not too short. Okay, so that goes like that. This one goes on here, and then the white piece in the back, so that you can put it on that right way. I had it up the wrong way. Put it that way. Come on, listen, what's what you do. Right, so then it's going to look like that. Excuse me. Okay, so now I'm going to start doing some gluing. Oh, hang on a minute. What have I done here? I see what I've done here. Have I got another bit in yours? Where's my sample? I don't know. Maybe that was to go there, was it? And this is on the back. If you've got excuse me, I might have a wee mouthful of water. if you've got this piece here, turn it over and do it like that. But I can't remember whether that was in your piece or whether this is just next one I've thrown in. Anyway, and then cut that to fit what you have, and then put that on the back so you can do your message. I'm done. Maybe I shouldn't have gone with the third card. Right, so scoring your edges. Gluing these down onto the pieces of card stock with this flap being opening here and the fold on this side. Okay, and then adhere your DSP to the base. Your borders even. Okay, and then this piece on here, like that. And as I say, because I've got this piece here, I might just actually cut that. You may have one there yourself. I honestly can't remember. I can't remember what I did this morning. We still ordered a fortnight ago. But I'm just going to stick that in the track. And oops, daisies, we nearly made it blue there. It moved. And just cut that off. Oops, then I didn't come back with it, did I? Okay, just snip that with me trusty snips. Okay, put that in the back in there. If you don't have that piece, I wouldn't worry about it too much, but if you do have it, why waste it? And that's the back side to the mountains with the blue snow. And all the time I lived in Twizel, I never seen blue snow. But anyway, I guess it gets that bluey grey tinge to it when it gets scrubby, dirty. Oh, I didn't take the bit off the bottom. Oh well, too late now. And then on this piece, I'm going to use the other side, which has got the glue then goes on the star side, the snowflake side. Okay. Now, just a wee reminder about some of the do's and don'ts and the happenings in the Stampin' Up world this month, being nearly the end of the month. 1st of October is something silly like Saturday. A reminder about the Perfect Partners, which is die sets that have been made especially to match stamp sets that are already in the catalogue. And where's the happy birthday piggies? I had them in the page a minute ago. In this one. Oh, no. I thought they were in the annual catalogue myself. I had them open a second ago. But they've made, I was hoping mine would be here today to show you because they are just ever so cute piggies. I thought they were called happy birthday piggies. Are they just birthday piggies? No. But there was 6 stamps in the catalogues that didn't have dies to them, and they have made dies to match them. This is one of them. I didn't get this one, but this is the Falling Canyon, and then they've made dies to match that for just this month only. So the piggy one must be in here as well then. And I'll see if I can find the others while I'm talking to you. That's the stamp set I was saying would look good behind these trees. You know, like that, or on top of the trees. But any which way, I've got the piggy one, and I was hoping, as I say, that it would have been here today to show you and have had time to cut something out with it, because, oh my, it is just, oh, here it is here, look. Now look at this. And can you imagine these all die cut out, and then there's a little cart you can put the pig in, and the confetti all behind this one, and you can colour it in, and it just looks so cute. But there's the cart, and there's a couple of other things as well that go with the die. It's sold as a bundle or singly, because if you've already got this stamp set, you don't need to buy it again. But if you want the dies to go with this Friday, the 1st of October is the last day for it. So I'm just going to pop this on the back of here so we can write a sentiment on it. And now I've used the little girl with the plaits on my one, but you'll have all had different gnomes on your sets, because the gnome papers are all different and are gorgeous. Too gorgeous not to use. So, and the dies, cut them out, as I say, each different gnome has a different hat, and they can cut the dies out. You can also cut out some of these as well, but yeah, I'm just going to run that along there to cut that edge off there. Now what we're going to do here is stack these 3. Now I've just cut these out of the white backing paper that comes out of the backs of your DSP, like that. That's a grey one, but that's all right. Just out of the back of your DSP, because you don't need to use cardstock for that. You're not going to see it, you're not going to stamp on it. So rather than using your good cardstock for the stacking, and also it recycles that other paper, cardstock, which we do tend to get quite a considerable amount when we buy our beautiful designer series papers. And you can imagine how many bats I've got. One day I'm going to have a wee clean out. This has got the beautiful snowflakes on the back of it. Looks like a jumper. Right, so that just goes on there so that it comes right up to the top of it. And all it's just doing is using it to give it a bit of thickness and firmness, because your designer series paper isn't as thick as a cardstock, and so therefore if you're putting it so that it's sitting like this, that's going to bend. But if you just pop it like that, you can be safe that that's not going to bend so much. And then just here with a second till we've got a tissue. Excuse me. Right, so I'm just going to put a bit of adhesive on the top, on the bottom half of this one. So not on the hat at all, just on the bottom, on the legs and hands of our little gnome. Okay, and put her in the middle. So she's sitting there in amongst the snowflakes, in amongst the mountains and the trees, and on the balmy blue base. And that is our card. Now you can put another white piece in here if you wish. I haven't done, but look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? I'm just wondering if I had any gems to go with that, but it doesn't look like I did have. I'll get my bit of sticky wicky paper again to take the glue off my fingers. And that, how cute is she? Look at that. Right, very quickly I'll do this one. We've got shaded spruce base. Make the edge firm again. We then have a piece of, now I think this is Poppy Parade, and that goes on there. Now that is that go behind it? No, I think that's inside. That is embossed with the gingham embossing folder. Now look at that. Even with this red, it actually looks like it's got the stitching in it. It's so pretty. So that's going to go on there. That's the middle. And then we've got in our little trusty bag of goodies here, we have got a gnome waiting to find a home. Now, look, don't lose his nose. Okay, so the nose goes, we've got the die cut out here and it's all embossed. So your hat sits on the edge of here, the nose sits on here. You can have the choice of your hat sitting there and then the nose on top, or the nose coming out underneath. That is entirely your choice. My nose is going to be underneath. So I'm just going to put the nose down with a bit of, nearly lost his nose. Put a bit of glue on the base. Now I find it's less likely to get glue all over myself if I put the glue, when I'm doing something little like this, like you see me get glue all over myself when I do a big job. So when I put the glue there and bring this up and put it onto the area I'm gluing it onto, and that hopefully stops me getting glue all over my fingers. And with the take your pick tool, you can just line that up and it is there. Okay, then I'm going to get the hat, and I only want glue on here, so again I'm just going to put glue on the white piece. So a bit of glue there and a bit of glue there and a little bit there, because the hat's going to come down over the nose, and then just pop that there. It's got a beautiful stitched edge around it and looks ultra cool. So just hold that there. Okay, and that is sitting in the embossed piece where the nose and the hat sits, right? Then we get his feet. Now these are die cut out of basic black, as you can see, and look at the feet. They've got little shoelaces on them, for goodness sake, and they go behind the whiskers. You can put them that way, you can put them that way, and if I showed you in the picture, you can see what I was doing. So you can do them however you want. I'm just going to do mine just like that on that one, not too far down, so you cover the shoelaces. Again, I'm just going to put a bit of glue on there, on the bottom of his whiskers. So this is all die cut out with the dies from the die cuts, from the gnome dies, and I'm going to just move that just a little bit because you can see the gap between the shoes. So I'm just going to move that down just a smidge, hold it down with my bone folder just so that it catches. That tree isn't part of our card. Oh, for goodness sake, just decline that. It's the same person ringing back. Right, so then we're just going to do it on here. So that goes on. I'm just not going to stick this down. That goes on there. That goes there, with these bits just stacked on top of each other like this. Okay, so just stack those like that with a little bit showing. You can do them, but you can do them so that they're straight, or you can do them like they are now. Just trim them down to fit, or you can do the banner ends on them. This goes underneath like that. That's cut out with the decals dies, rectangles, and then the gnome on there. Now I'm just going to pop that on some dimensionals. No, I'm not, because I can't see them. No, I'm not, because I can't see them either. Some dimensionals on that, but I can't put them on dimensionals because I'm not putting it on the card. So scrap that idea, Felicity. So like that, okay? And that's sort of the idea you've got. Right, so that's card number 4 for the day. But how gorgeous are these dies? How cute. How many kid Christmas cards could you make with those? How many adults Christmas cards could you make with those? And then, of course, we had these perched on a tree ones as well, which I'll bring these down. And then you can see those as well. So we've done the 4 cards, 2 from last week and 2 from this week. And again, I apologise for not being with the game last week, but truly was not able to play with card making stuff last week. So there you go. Hopefully they're all in the picture. My bar of my holder is there in my way. But that's 4 cards. A reminder, thank you very much to those that have paid. And I'm just going to sign off now because I need to find out what this call is about. And thank you for joining me. And have a great day. Bye. Felicity Dagg. I don't think I said who I was at the beginning. Felicity Dagg, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in New Zealand. Thanks for joining me. Bye.